Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. Luigi Mangione says no more to his fans. That other delay, deny, and depose case, it got dismissed. The Karen Reed hearing continues, the one that gave the judge grave concerns. And a teen cries like a little baby after being charged as an adult. Puppy thieves steal the best dog breed ever. We have this day in legal history and our dumb criminal of the day. Let's talk about it.
All right, lawyer.
Good day, everyone. My name is Scott Reich, and this is Crime Talk. Thanks for joining us. You know the drill. Subscribe if you haven't. Like if you do. Leave me a comment below and hit that little bell for notifications of when we go live or put up new content. And yes, you can check us out on any of your favorite podcasting apps. Now, it is Tuesday, February 25th. So what does that mean? That's right. It's Tuesday Night Live. So join us at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. We're obviously going to talk about the second half of the Karen Reed hearing, as well as, that's right, the Brian Kohberger secret transcript. I will have it all broken down for you. A couple of new tidbits in there, or at least what I think is new and interesting. But the defense never had a chance on this one. We'll talk about it. All right, let's go ahead and get to CrimeTalkSearch.com. Sign up for that background subscription service today. When you do, you can do as many background searches as you desire. And you're going to get a report literally emailed to you while you wait. And it's going to have all kinds of information about somebody's social media presence, whether they have a criminal history, are they on a sex offender registry, are they married, divorced, do they have judgment liens against them? Things that they're probably not going to tell you, well, unless you go digging. Listen, knowledge is power. Know who you are dealing with and know who you are bringing into your life and maybe the people that you want to get out of your life. So go sign up for CrimeTalkSearch.com. Remember, you can cancel at any time. All right. Let's go ahead and get to the docket for February 25th, 2025. And first on the docket, Luigi Mangione. He says no more. That's right. Luigi Mangione, the man accused of assassinating the United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson, has delivered a request warning to his fan base about how the police are screening his communications. Can you believe that, ladies and gentlemen? People are actually sending stuff to Luigi Mangione with the expectation that somebody at the jail is not going to read it. Are you kidding me? Of course they read everything that goes in and out of the jail, unless it is marked attorney-client communications. Anyway, Mangione, like I said, the accused killer, is reportedly being flooded with fan mail at his Brooklyn Federal Detention Center, where he is currently residing. And he is asking his admirers to stop. No more photos, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently, the volume of photos has become so overwhelming that he's begging his followers to limit their submissions to just 5 photos at a time. And remember, they are being screened, ladies and gentlemen, so make sure they are appropriate for jail, if you know what I mean, right? Now, Mr. Mangione appreciates the photos that have been sent and kindly asks that people send no more than that 5. Anyway, the update is a reminder to his admirers to please note that every photo that is received is screened by law enforcement, i.e., stop sending the X-rated stuff. Anyway, Mangione has also collected more than $615,000 for his defense fund as of today. And obviously, Mangione has attracted a substantial fan base, mostly female supporters. And apparently they packed the New York courthouse where he appeared last Friday, desperate for a glimpse of the accused murderer. Fans waited in the corridor of the state course, and a truck circled the building with a large picture of Mangione dressed as a saint. Even had a halo in it. That's right. Saint Luigi. Anyway, court officials estimated that between 250 and 300 people attended that hearing. So no mas, ladies and gentlemen. No mas. No more photos. But at least make them G-rated, all right? Otherwise, he's not going to get them. Well, remember that other deny, delay, and depose case? Well, it's been dropped. Florida prosecutors dropped charges against a woman who was arrested last year for threatening a healthcare company official during a phone call. So the state attorney for the 10th Judicial Circuit issued a no-bill order for the charge: written or electronic threats to kill or do bodily injury against Brianna Boston. Now, Miss Boston was arrested on December 10th after she told the insurance company representatives, delay, deny, depose. You people are next. Anyway, Boston's alleged comments came almost a week after Luigi Mangione reportedly, obviously shot and killed the United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in New York. And on those bullets were the words delay, deny, and depose. Just to say, makes people a little nervous. Anyway, the district attorney revealed that Boston's insurer, the Blue Cross and Blue Shield company, sought the dismissal in the case, which means they didn't want the case to go forward. And the prosecutor said that during their review of the case, representatives of the victims indicated that the defendant has been a very good customer in the past and that they wish to try to amicably settle this matter. Anyway, apparently the defendant had made a very sincere apology in a statement to Blue Cross and Blue Shield, and that the representatives at the organization are satisfied and they're not seeking any sanctions against the defendant based upon the circumstances of the case. Just goes to show you, ladies and gentlemen, what I've said when I say the 12 undeniable truths of life from a criminal defense attorney. One being, it's amazing how far the words "I'm sorry" can go. Sometimes that's all people are looking for. Next, the Karen Read trial. The drama continues. Now, what did I say, and what did the Karen Read is innocent bandwagon come and attack me? Scott, you don't know what you're talking about, right? And what did I also say? I said, if I were Mr. Jackson, I think I'd have an attorney, someone other than him, explaining what's going on. So anyway, the hearing took place, and Mr. Jackson's not the one doing the talking, just like I told you he wouldn't be, because he's got some potential issues hanging over his head. So another attorney on the Karen Read team is doing the talking today. How convenient. Anyway, so the hearing that was abruptly ended last week resumed today after the judge, like I said, ended that hearing rather quickly, in which the prosecution claims potential misconduct by Karen Read's attorneys. Now, for those who don't know, Karen Read of Massachusetts is accused of hitting her boyfriend, John O'Keefe, with her SUV outside of a Canton home on January 29th, 2022, and allegedly leaving him to die in the snowstorm following a night of drinking at several bars. First trial on the three charges began in April of 2024 and ended in a mistrial. Her defense argued that she was framed and that the other law enforcement officers were responsible for Officer O'Keefe's death. The start of her second trial is April 1st. So at the hearing today, we'll give you, this is kind of the summary up until the break that they took at 2 o'clock Eastern time there. And anyway, so the judge says that she learned as of last week's hearing of a previously undisclosed relationship between the defense and the ARCA witnesses. They were the expert witnesses. And she is listening and she listed the documents that she's been reviewing over the course of the last week. Now, the judge said that the prosecutor said last week was inconsistent with what she remembered happening at trial. So she's been also reviewing those transcripts. Now, the judge says that what concerns her most is something said at sidebar at a hearing on February 6th of 2025. And then she was reading from a transcript from that sidebar hearing. The judge says Mr. Jackson told her that he had no additional discovery about the two ARCA witnesses to share with the prosecutors. She says that was concerning to her. Now, Mr. Alessi, one of the attorneys on behalf of Karen Read today, not Mr. Jackson making these arguments, referred to a March 20th, 2024 email from Alan Jackson to the ARCA consultant's witness, Dr. Daniel Wolf. He says that ARCA has produced its report for the federal government during the prior month, and Alessi says that the report included about 3,000 pages that the defense received, and it was just before Reed's first trial began that the defense was busy preparing for the trial, and he says that ARCA's findings were set in cement and therefore never changed. Alessi said that the federal government placed restrictions on contacting the ARCA witnesses, and the defense had zero input into the report and therefore had zero input into the findings whatsoever. Now, the judge then asked if the federal government rules restricting witness prep was in effect at the time of the email was sent. Mr. Alessi said, I don't know. You would think he just would ask Mr. Jackson what he thought was the case. Anyway, Mr. Alessi says that at the start of the trial, the defense did not know if the ARCA witnesses would be testifying, and he says that there was no agreement yet for them to testify. Now, Alessi is now referring to a trial transcript at some point of June 11th, 2024, and that's when the judge ordered a hearing to hear from the ARCA witnesses. At that time, the judge asked if the defense had ever spoken with the defense. Yannetti replied they'd only spoken with them for scheduling and biography purposes. That statement of Mr. Yannetti is, at best as I can tell, 100% accurate, said Mr. Alessi. There was no compensation as of June 18th, Mr. Alessi notes to the court, and there was no favoritism, he says, because prosecution had the chance to ask whatever questions they wanted to during the voir dire of the ARCA witnesses. Now, Alessi is referring to a June 2024 email from Mr. Wolf to Mr. Jackson, and he again emphasized that Yannetti was not CC'd on this email, says that because each lawyer had different tasks during the trial. Alessi is reading at one point from Wolf's trial testimony. Wolf testified that at the time he prepared his report, he did not know the defense attorney or anything about the case. Alessi says that that was 100% true. Then Alessi says that when Wolf testified, the defense had not paid him. And Alessi speculates Wolf was nervous about testifying. Judge says, hey, no speculation. Alessi says that the prosecutor speculated a lot at the hearing last week. Anyway, Alessi says that there was no pretrial agreement about compensation for the witnesses, and it wouldn't have been a surprise if that was the case, but he says the invoice came out of the blue. Now, Alessi says, guess what? A check was sent to ARCA on July 25th, so there was no doubt the invoice was paid. But he says the payment was not agreed upon ahead of time, so therefore it must be okay. And Alessi summarized these documents that were discussed so far, says, what he'll do next. The judge, once again, got a little upset with him, saying, don't tell me what you're going to do, just say it. And I can tell you, this Mr. Alessi guy, get to the freaking point, dude. You're turning a 20-minute argument into a 5-hour endless hearing. For the God's sakes, get to the point, man. Anyway, Alessi then goes on and discusses what special prosecutor Mr. Hank Brennan said at last week's hearing when he initially brought up these issues. Alessi denies that the prosecution did not know that these experts did not know of these experts ahead of time and could have asked them questions. Alessi also says that Mr. Brennan's big buildup last week was built on a falsehood that the feds had provided in these documents. Obviously, Mr. Brennan later clarified that they had come from the defense. Now, Alessi says the defense had sent the ARCA documents to the prosecution on February 12th, 6 days before Brennan claimed not to have received anything about the witnesses. Mr. Alessi says we had given full discovery. We had given it, Alessi says, about the ARCA documents shared with the prosecution. And Mr. Alessi reads back Brennan's words. Brennan twirls a pen on the notebook in front of him. He occasionally picks up a pen and makes notes. That's a misdirection, Alessi says, of Brennan's initial comments that the ARCA documents came from the federal government. Alessi says Brennan's misquoted the initial email, then says the court reporter might have poorly transcribed Brennan's remarks. Last time I heard, court reporters are supposed to take verbatim transcripts. Anyway, Alessi says Brennan misrepresented the outline as having been prepared by the defense. Judge said, hey, guess what? Now it's lunchtime. And Mr. Alessi says, I need another 45 minutes. So we're doing this show while they're over the break. Guess what? We'll talk about it tonight. I still think and some people are going to say this judge has it out for some people will say that this judge has it out for Karen Read. I don't know. But this judge is kind of turning it into like the O.J. Simpson trial. Once again, this is a 20-minute argument. What did you know, defense? When did you know it? Why'd you pay the bill? Why didn't you disclose it? It looks like it's a misrepresentation to the court. Tell me why I am wrong. I think there's going to be a sanction imposed. It should have been disclosed, and the defense was playing fast and loose. So bring it on. The Karen Read can do no wrong. Supporters, I'm ready for it. We'll see what the judge does. And hey, if the judge finds there's nothing here, so be it. I will say I was wrong, but we'll wait and see. A teenager cries like a little baby when he finds out he's going to be charged as an adult. Well, police charged 16-year-old Sean Simpson with first-degree murder after they say he shot and killed Zaquavius Dawkins last Sunday. Now, Mr. Dawkins was apparently walking to a store in North Carolina to pick up items for his disabled mother when the shooting happened. Family members say apparently these two men had got into some sort of altercation last year, but everybody thought the whole situation was resolved. Apparently not. Anyway, during the hearing on Wednesday, Mr. Simpson became quite emotional while the judge read the charges and said, hey, you're facing capital murder. Anyway, he cried out, I love you, Mama. I love you, Mama. Simpson will be tried as an adult and is being held without bail. He's due back in court on February 18th. Kids. You know, generally 14 or older, you can be charged as an adult. Do you really want to be 14 and charged in big boy court, so to speak? Yeah, they're going to like that soft skin of the young man. Just saying, gonna get ugly in there for him. Next, puppy thieves. That's right. Who steals puppies? Obviously bad people. Anyway, take a look at this video. Multiple suspects are on the run here in Colorado following a heist in which a male allegedly faked a seizure to distract workers at a pet store while his accomplice swiped two English bulldogs worth $4,200 each from a display case. Obviously, in today's world, guess what? The heist was captured on video. This is video from the Perfect Pets in Centennial, Colorado. One of the two dogs was later returned to the store by a Good Samaritan who purchased the puppy for $1,500 from a street vendor in Arapahoe County. Now, that should have been the first clue that something was wrong. To buy a bulldog puppy for $1,500, it either A, must be terribly bred, trust me, I know, or two, the dog was stolen. All right, nobody sells a bulldog, purebred English bulldog for $1,500 unless, like I said, it's terribly bred. Not going to happen. Anyway, the suspects who allegedly faked the seizure was arrested at the pet store by the sheriff's deputies. His name is Timothy Davis. He's facing charges of a conspiracy to commit a felony, theft, and drug possession. Deputies are still searching for the other three suspects. And you can see in the footage, the heist begins with the man falling over backwards while looking at a display case of animals. A woman appears to be the mother with her two young children, and a store employee then walk over to tend to him. As they are looking over the man, another male suspect is seen walking to the back of the store and grabbing the puppies out of the display case. Obviously, the people are saying, hey, stop. And they race towards the exit. The video shows the suspect knocking over one of the store employees as he fled the scene. An employee tried to tackle and fell to the ground, and they actually dropped one of the little puppies. Anyway, the thief managed to get the little puppy, picked him up, ran out the door with another male. And guess what? They got into a gold Cadillac Escalade. That shouldn't be hard to find. Both suspects got into the car. There was no description of the fourth suspect who appeared to be driving other than possibly a female. Police said early today that the Good Samaritan returned the stolen puppies Monday night after seeing the story on the news. She said that the puppy was purchased for $1,500 on a street vendor. called the store, ultimately returned the dog to the store. Investigators described the suspects as a black male who was wearing a large black coat and sweatpants, and a white or Hispanic male who was wearing a blue and white beanie-style hat and had brown hair. The gold Cadillac Escalade is described as having no license plates and surprisingly heavy tinted windows. I know if you live in a hot environment, dark tinted windows like you're in the back of a limousine may seem normal. To the rest of the world, though, that is called reasonable suspicion to be pulled over by the police. It's a joke. It's a joke, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Anyway, stealing little baby bulldogs. I don't know. This possibly should be a capital offense. Right? You don't mess with another person's spouse. You don't mess with another person's car. And you certainly don't mess with another person's bulldog. You just don't do it. Next, this day in legal history. That's right, February 25th, 1862. The Legal Tender Act was signed and goes into law. President Abraham Lincoln signed the Legal Tender Act, authorizing the issuance of paper currency, aka greenbacks, to finance the Civil War. Obviously, the act allowed the government to issue paper money, and it wasn't backed by gold or silver, obviously kind of changing the monetary system. On this date in 1870, Hiram R. Revels was sworn into the U.S. Senate. That's right, Hiram Rhodes Revels of Mississippi was sworn in as the first African-American member of the United States Senate. Revels' admission to the Senate marked a significant milestone in African-American political representation during the Reconstruction era. And on this date in 1913, the ratification of the 16th Amendment. That's right, the 16th Amendment to the United States Constitution, granting Congress the power to levy an income tax, went into effect. Obviously, the amendment provides a consistent revenue stream for the federal government, leading to the modern income tax system, which clearly still isn't enough. The more they get, the more they spend. As income increases, so does consumption, right? More taxes are raised, the more they spend. They never ever say, we don't need any more, do they? They always find something to spend it on. And on February 25th, 2005, the arrest of the BTK killer. That's right, Dennis Rader was known as the BTK, blind, torture, killer, was arrested in Kansas after a series of murders spanning decades. Now, Rader's arrest brought closure to a lot of unsolved cases and underscores advancement in forensic technology and law enforcement collaboration. And on this day, February 25th, 2020, it seems like yesterday, the shooting of Ahmaud Arbery. We just talked about this, right? Remember the prosecutor that had the case thrown out, still going on. But 2020, February 25th, 2020, Mr. Arbery was an unarmed black man, was fatally shot while jogging in Georgia. The incident led to some outrage, obviously, prompting legal reforms to the eventual conviction of the perpetrators, all doing life sentences. And finally today, our dumb criminal of the day. Yes, go back to your effing country, a Missouri man said before assaulting a Hispanic man shopping at a supermarket, according to the police report. And the man apparently said he's tired of foreigners. Investigators allege that Sean Singer attacked a male victim inside a grocery store in a St. Louis suburb. Now, Mr. Singer, who lives a few blocks from the store, was arrested the other evening and charged with assault motivated by discrimination, which makes it a felony. As detailed in the complaint, the victim told police that he passed Singer in an aisle. Singer apparently mumbled something unintelligible. The victim asked the defendant if he had said something, and the defendant said, "Go back to your effing country." Singer then raised his fist, swung the victim's direction, and after the man stumbled to the floor, Singer struck him repeatedly in the face and upper body. A bystander, according to the police, tried to pull Mr. Singer off the victim, but failed. Singer only relented after being told that the police had been called and they are on his way. After police did arrive, guess what? They arrested Mr. Singer, and he began spewing a litany of complaints about foreigners, saying they're walking all over the place, making our money cost so much more than it should. Well, during his arrest, Mr. Singer's theories included, don't blame me. Don't blame this on me, man. There's people who are from other countries that are taking jobs away from us. Anyway, Singer went on to complain that people are effing trampling all over us, adding that he would be next going to China to take them down because they were part of the COVID vaccine virus. Mr. Singer's arrest wound him being locked up in jail, where he remains because he has to post a $40,000 cash bail before he can be released. He is apparently also facing a separate assault charge in connection with an incident last year at a Walgreens store. He allegedly squared up to fight against somebody and was making some threats to that particular victim as well. Anyway, Mr. Singer, you are our dumb criminal of the day. First around, going around picking fights with people because you believe they are foreigners. Well, that's just ridiculous. And, well, you're probably a little racist as well, Mr. Singer. So you are a dumb criminal of the day. Thanks for watching. Join us tonight when we talk about the Karen Reed case on our live program, as well as the Brian Kohberger transcript. 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Please join us. And remember, the Constitution matters.